Okay, now we're going to look at using the Toyz image viewer. Actually, more specifically, the image viewer that comes with Astro Toyz. So we'll run a session of Toyz and open up our browser. We're going to go to the localhost / workspace. Make sure you include the trailing slash, otherwise it won't load properly. Once the dialog goes away, you're good to go. So we're going to right click, go to New Tile, and now I can click anywhere in the dark gray area, and that lets me move this tile around. And then if I come down to the corner, you see I get an arrow there, so I can click and drag that to make the tile bigger. Now if I right click on that tile, I can choose what type of tile I want it to be, and I want this one to be an Astro viewer. And so you see that it pulls up the controls. And so in general with these controls, the green are going to control an image. The purple are going to control the viewers, and the different frames in the viewer. And then the blue are going to be zoom functions. Gray are going to be tools. And then in this case for Astro, I made a red set of catalog functions that don't really work yet. So if you click on the viewer, to open an image, you see that we have different types of images. We can open just a regular image. We can open a large image. So what this is going to do is it's going to load it in a Google Maps style where we just kind of load the tiles of the part of the image we're looking at. And that's what we're actually going to choose. The other types, a combined image doesn't work yet. And also viewing the whole directory of images doesn't work yet to be able to view the tiles of each image. So we'll pick a large image, we'll click on the dots. Anytime you see dots in one of these dialogues, that's telling you that you can open a file browser there. We see the shortcut that I created in the first video. And so now I can navigate. Folders are always going to show up here, and then the files are going to show up on the right. And so I'll just open up the first one. Okay, so to view the image better, the first thing we can do is we can zoom to 100%. But now, of course, we want to adjust the bias and the contrast. So we can use, very similar to what you would do in DS9. You can click and drag around this, and as you do that, you're changing the bias and the contrast. This little dot shows you where you are. And notice most of it's going down way down here. These other settings aren't really useful. So I'll adjust this so that I'm only going to be looking at between 0 and 10,000. And so now notice that I have I can do much finer tuning of my adjustments. And in fact, I happen to know from these images that it's best to look at kind of this range here. And so I can just even add that by hand. And then again, if I go back and change this to 1,000, now you see that the color bar of where everything matches up has gotten bigger. So this is just another way to allow you to change your bias and contrast. If we go to color map, we have access to every color map that's part of Matplotlib. And so I'll choose one. And I'll set that as a color map for this image. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to start to explore the image. So for example, I can click on surface plots, click on the source. I can change the width of the surface plot. I can click on it and drag around to view it from different angles. I can also choose what type of fit I want to use. And then when I click on new sources, it updates with the new source, and it'll immediately give you the fit for that source. I can also use a histogram. So if I click on the histogram, and again we'll kind of change the bin width just so we get a little bit better statistics on the distribution of pixels in a box centered on where I clicked. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new frame to the viewer. I'm going to open another image, I happen to know the name of it, so just to save time, I'll open that here. And again, I'll just quickly change what my pixel values are and the color map so they match. Now I'm going to go back to the first image, which is at a different zoom level and a slightly different spot. And I'm going to click on this tool, which is a world coordinate align. And so when I do that, it's going to go back to the first image and set it at the same scale and also align it with this image. So now I can blink between them. Now these are just taken in a different filter, which is why they look so much different. But you can imagine using this for blinking between different images. So that's basically all there is to it. If I wanted to delete one of these, I could click this and it would delete the frame again. If I want to look at a different frame on the image, I can either click on there, or I can navigate using these keys. And it's going to assume that you want all of your frames on the same color map. So once you've set the color map for one frame, it's going to propagate through the rest of it. Notice that the coordinates are adjusting in real time. You see that the RA and DEC aren't changing at all until I stop. And that's just to prevent the server from being flooded, with commands. And so that's about it for this. In the next video, we'll take a look at how to view plots using Toyz.